Hello, everyone. This is Split Cell Productions. I am here with Watson and me. I go by Gaming with Wilson or Wilson for short. I don't care which. We're here to talk, discuss, and rant about Apex cross progression and why the way they have implemented it or any other reason it just irritates the hell out of us. Say hello, Watson.
Hi, I'm Watson. I go by Watson. I go by Watson for short. And my name's Ibn Watson.
Okay, anyways, we're going to start with the abysmal launch of the cross progression. I fully believe that everyone kind of assumed that it would just be on launch. They weren't very clear with what they wanted to do. They made it clear afterwards that they wanted to do waves, but no one actually knew, what was going on or when they would get their accounts or what was happening. So
Yeah,
every
the original announcement actually said that accounts would go on a mandatory merge when the update launched. That was the information they gave us.
yeah, and
And
that's
that's what's so
why
frustrating.
that's why everyone was so irritated when they weren't, it didn't happen on launch day. Like, I remember waking up and launching my PS5, and even though I don't use my PS5 for Apex anymore, I still have the game fully updated. And I went in, and it didn't happen, so I thought something was broken. And only upon doing further research did I realize that, nope, no one got it, and everyone was trying to see why they weren't getting it.
There has been an incredible amount of people who have wondered why their accounts aren't merging. And out of all of those people, there's maybe like 10. I'd say there's probably like 10 for every 100,000 players who have actually gotten the eligibility for account merging on their account already. And not to mention, there has been several issues with the people who have tried to merge already.
Yeah. And then when it comes to that, just I have some issues, like even just with the cross progression, like how they chose it, like how your main account is your highest level account. What I don't like about that is my highest level account is my PS5 account, which I have not touched in 2 years. So my old account is now my main account without without even me getting a say because it's mandatory, and it sucks because I didn't have a main on my old account. I just played whoever was necessary for the comp, really. So none of my stats are good on any character. So I'm pretty much getting hard reset, but at a higher level. So I don't know. I just think the way they did that was bad. I feel like they should have allowed a bit of choice there, allowed us to choose which account we wanted our main, because stats don't transfer, which means I'm getting a shit account after 2 years of playing mainly PC, and I'm getting bad stats. Stats don't merge. I don't like that. I don't like. I get some of them, like highest damage output in a game. I get why those can't merge. That's obvious, but the kills in Apex or the damage output in Apex, I don't understand that part, because if you're forcing people to get their highest level account and then the stats from that account are their main stats, yes, that looks good on paper, but the minute you realize, hey, a lot of these high level accounts have actually been abandoned for a year to a few years, then you realize the problems, because only after that, when I made my new account, did I really pick some mains and really get stats up, and now that's just going to be erased without any say for me.
And a big part of it for me too is when you think about it from a business standpoint, as I discussed before, I feel as though it does kind of make sense to do it like that. They want to minimize, they want to be as in control as possible to minimize any possible complications. But at the end of the day, I don't imagine it would have been all that hard to allow the player to control which account is perceived as their most important account, especially when things like heirloom shards, while heirlooms will merge, heirloom shards will not. So if you don't have access, such as myself, to some of your old accounts, I mean, I don't have my Xbox anymore, then, let's say I had heirlooms shards on there, that would not merge if that was not my highest account. Thankfully, it is my highest level account, and it has all of my stats on it, but that's just someone who's had the same name since Season 2. So for people like you, who have always played various different characters, it's just a very frustrating process that overall does more harm than good.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating because I was so bad at the game on my PlayStation. Like, I got good kind of near the end of it, and then I abandoned it for PC because I was like, fuck it. I watch all these high level players on PC and they do some crazy ass shit. I figured, why not get on PC, have that learning curve, which it took me like, I would say I wasn't really comfortable with mouse and keyboard until I was like level 70, and that took a long while. Like I felt like quitting for a long time, but I put the work in, and I'm one of those PC players that will never blame aim assist or some shit. But no, like I don't know. I'm frustrated because of how they're doing it. I have 6 heirlooms on my PC account and only one on my PlayStation account. Yes, I'm an idiot and I spent so much money on this game. I understand. I'm fucking. It's all right. I'm just worried about, if there are any possible glitches. What if an heirloom doesn't transfer over, or what if, uh, something just goes wrong and some data disappears. Like my weapon mastery level is 190 on PC. Not great, but not bad either. And then my weapon mastery level on my PlayStation is 21 because they launched it right around the time I abandoned that account. So it's pretty wild to think about because all my stats are pretty much getting reset while my level's going up. I just don't like that. Like I don't get it.
And think about how much because a lot of people have been switching to PC as of late. It's been, a huge trend. And think about the people who might have put a ton of work in this last season or so. I mean, I switched to PC about halfway through this most recent season, and I already have 1,000 kills, over 1,000 kills on my Watson. And that's all for nothing. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, I'll be much happier with, my other 6,000 kills, but it's still, it's a lot of effort and a lot of time that at the end of the day is just kind of getting pushed to the side.
Outright deleted, like it's a GameCube memory card.
Yeah.
And also, like what we were saying, like complications. They have not been transparent at all. They're not telling us what issues they're running into. They're not telling us what's going wrong. And I don't even know if there's any way to contact them if something goes wrong with your data. If something just gets completely reset and you don't notice it until, say, a week later, and you're like, wait a minute, I mained this guy for a year. Where are all the stats? Like, even on my abandoned account, I still have, like, say 1,000 kills and they're not here. It's a 0 again. Is there any way to actually contact EA or Respawn about that? Because if you lose data, is there actually any feasible way to get it back? Like, what if you lose an heirloom, or you lose a legendary skin, or you lose one of the leveling up skins? Like, what happens there? Can you talk to them, and would they actually even give it back to you? Because I'll be honest, it's EA and they're money hungry, so I would completely believe that it's within the realm of possibility that they would be like, oh, you lost an heirloom? Damn, you're gonna have to give us $500, man. You can get it back. It's just 500, and that's what I'm concerned about because it's EA, and I know I'm saying it's EA and I'm using it as a big blame for it, but EA is money hungry, but they're also a very big game company. These issues shouldn't be happening. I know Respawn is a smaller company that they own now, and they don't have full control over what's happening. But EA is the main head company, and they're quote unquote AAA gaming company, and they have these very simple issues that they just seem to always have at launch. Like, even when it's not cross progression, if you go back to Season 6 Boosted, when Rampart got released, then you'll see that the game was heavily getting shit on, and everyone was saying it was the worst season, and the game was actually dying there for a little bit, but it jumped back due to like a mid-season patch or something. I don't remember what exactly happened. I could be wrong about that, but I know that that was like when everyone was thinking that Apex might actually die from the most recent update in Season 6. I remember all of that controversy, but I don't know. It's just crazy that they didn't think these things through when they were trying to implement cross progression. Like, how long has it been out? This game's been out since I believe 2019, when they like,
This is a 4-year-old game.
yeah, when they shadow dropped it. Like, they did put a trailer, but I remember everyone talking about it. Everyone talking about it because this was right at the time that the only 2 battle royales that were fighting for people's attention were PUBG and Fortnite, and both kind of sucked. Like, people were getting really really irritated with Fortnite and the tryhards that would build the damn mansion, and people were getting sick of PUBG because it kind of felt like a phone game at the time. But I don't play it. I haven't played it pretty much since Apex dropped. Um, but Apex, when it came out, the I remember the gunplay. Like Watson is actually the one who got me into the game. But I didn't actually really heavily start playing it until he was gone for like 2 years. So I started playing it, and I really got addicted to it. And I remember loving the gunplay, loving the lore, and that's when I really figured out the lore in the games that came before it, the Titanfall series. And I played through those games because I'd never heard of them. Yes, I know I'm ashamed. I found out about the Titanfall games late, but I loved those games when I played them. I loved the campaigns, and I just became so obsessed with the lore of the world and Apex and the universe that they had created. Now the lore's been pretty bad recently, in my opinion, but it's not the worst ever. I'm still interested, but I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
rambling at this point.
yeah, and this is just a small sidetrack, but I do want to add a little bit. The issue with currently with the lore is that they keep just pulling stuff out of nowhere, and they aren't actually completing any timelines. They aren't,
Yeah,
they're not adding
yeah.
anything. They're not finishing. They're just adding.
Yeah, well, I remember being really interested about Crypto's sister because I thought she was getting teased for the games, and then like that was all the way back like season 6, season 5, I think, and then like they just completely deleted her from existence, to my knowledge. Uh, but Crypto's one of my favorite characters lore wise. I don't know, I just found him interesting when his trailer dropped. I think it was really the art style of that trailer, like the animated trailer. I loved it, and it just got me so obsessed with his character, and then the friendship between him and Watson and how I got strained because of, I believe, a lie Caustic told. And I just became very, like, I don't know, like, I became very interested in certain characters that I saw as, quote unquote main characters of the game, even though I know they're not. They're just characters within the universe. But Crypto, Watson, Wraith, and Mirage, I became very interested in those four, and that's about it. And those are still the only four that I'm really interested in. Uh, Lifeline and Octane are also close, fifth and sixth. Like they're still like I like them. They're interesting. They're cool. Octane's just a fucking crackhead. Love him. Uh, but yeah, that's literally my issues with cross progression. And the whole point of this video is that it could have been better. The way they're rolling it out, the way they're handling it, the very limited information, how you have no control over what stats are getting deleted, how you have no control over what account is actually becoming your main. You have no control over any of it. It's just happening. And I think this, in my opinion, was the worst way for them to implement cross progression. It's wild to me. I don't understand their thought process. Like I get they're a company. I get they want to have the least amount of problems. But I don't agree with how they've been doing it.
And the crazy thing is, when you really think about it too, is one of the easiest solutions that would have solved about half of my issues, like half of my bigger issues with cross progression and the way they released it, would just be for them to release more information, be a little bit more transparent. You know better than anyone. I am always up to date, almost by the second, on what's happening with Apex and the future of Apex. The amount of leakers, whether they're real or not, I always know what's coming. There's really not supposed to be any surprises. I knew cross progression was coming early. I knew Conduit was coming a long time ago. Like, I am always a step ahead on the EA news, and yet cross progression is something that even I have been struggling to find out, even just little crumbs of information about.
Yeah, pretty much this could have been handled better, and I think they've been handling it terribly. Terribly. Even when my accounts get merged, I'm going to be really mad because all my stats are pretty much going back to zero. But my level's going up to 300 from 191, but my stats are going all the way back down. Like, yeah, I'll have my cool banners, my cool skins, my cool trackers, but they're all back to pretty much zero. What's the point? At that point, give me the choice to just my to have sorry, I just completely choked up. To have my level 191 as my main, and then delete all the stats from the other account. Just give me all my stuff from the other account. I wish we had a choice of what we can make our main account. I wish we just had a choice really on what our main account could be, because that's my biggest issue is the account. Like I'm going pretty much back to 0, but I'm a higher level, so that's nice, I guess. But all my stats are going back to 0.
Yeah, I mean, you're losing a lot of work for, you know. Now, and don't get me wrong, this is something that I I am happy that it's been added. I am grateful, I guess you could say, to EA and Respawn for finally doing something, but at the same time, it's almost like the bare minimum at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. And this isn't hate to the devs. I actually like the devs. I like the game. I like the gunplay. Except for them choosing to put the Volt and R301 in the replicator, simply because that leaves us with way less automatic choices for mid-range unless you go and craft one.
Yeah, so it's crazy
Yeah.
because my four of my 5 most commonly used weapons are either in the crafter or in the care package. The R99 is my top weapon. The Wingman is my second weapon. The R301 is my third weapon. The Prowler was my fourth weapon, and the Volt was my fifth weapon. Those are my top 5 choices for any video, any battle, like any game that we played, whether it was battle royale or whatever. Like every
Yeah.
time we dropped, those are the guns that I went for, and 4 of those are not on the floor anymore. This season has complete like the Prowler was up last season in the care pack, and that was fine. I still had 3 other top weapons to pick up.
Yeah.
And it encouraged me to get good with Wingman again. This most recent season is essentially forcing me to change the way I play. Don't get me wrong, the car is nice. I've been enjoying using the car a little bit more, but you go from having 5 to 6 like potential weapons that you want to pick up and that you can get from almost any hot drop to I'm scrambling all game to just maybe get an R99 or a car.
Yeah. It's pretty. I don't know, it's wild. It forces you to change up your playstyle, I guess, and I can already tell that if anyone ever sees this video, they're just going to say get better or get good in the comments, but at this point, we've been playing this game for years, so we already know what weapons we're more accustomed to. Like, I just started recently changing my playstyle and sniping more, and I've learned that the Sentinel just fucking obliterates if you're hitting your shots. But,
Yeah, no, like
yeah, I don't know.
part of it is, part of it is they're kind of right. Part of it is a skill issue, but like, I've been playing the exact same way for,
Long
I
time.
was on deployment for about a year and a half, so I did miss that, but almost the entire time I have played the exact same way. And so, and I like that. I'm not one of those people who likes to change up the way I play. So being forced to change the way I play and everything is just, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys are gonna have to suffer through our absolutely abysmal gameplay. We're gonna clip in some good clips, but understand that it took us 5 to 6 games in a row to get one small good 13-second clip, and we're just
It's
gonna
been a
clip this
rough
together.
season so far.
Yes, it has. Other than the L-Star, love the L-Star again, amazing. But yeah, let us know down in the comments what you guys think of this season so far, on cross progression, what your guys' thoughts are on it. And yeah, this is Split Cell Productions, and we will see you guys next week with another upload.
Peace.